Hello everyone. So today we are going to make some buttermilk biscuits. Sit back, relax, enjoy the recipe, and give it a try if you'd like. So we're going to start out with around 2.5 cups of self-rising flour. And what I'm going to do to make this go a little quicker is I'm actually going to, I don't have a very big food processor, so I'm going to put part of this flour in my food processor. It's more like a chopper that I have. Whoops, and I just spilled a little flour. That's okay though, that happens. I'll put like 1.5 cups in there. Yes, honey, I'll clean it up when we're done here. And next, I am going to, I have a stick of butter here, if I can find it, here it is. I'm gonna put half of this stick of butter in. Now it's a good idea, if you can, to let this butter get frozen. It works out just a little bit better, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm just gonna drop this half a stick of butter in here. Throw that over there to the side for a moment. We're gonna throw this lid on. Put the little motor on top. I absolutely love this chopper. It has a bigger canister that goes with it for making milkshakes. I guess I could have thrown that here, but I think that would have been more problem than it's worth. So I'm just spinning this around so I can get it fitted on properly. There we go. And I'm just gonna pulse this 5 or 6 times. Check it out here, see what we got. Oh, not quite good enough. It's having a little trouble chopping up the butter. Here's what we're going to do. Let's take this butter and kind of smash it down in there so it'll get under that blade. Let's give this another try. That sounds like it might have better results. Absolutely. So what it's done is it's kind of mixed in that, it's chopped that butter up into little pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this in here. And I'll go ahead and do the same with the other cup of cup of flour. Don't you love self-rising flour? Okay, very carefully. Dump that in here. Add in our other partial stick of butter. Push it really good down into those blades so it gets chopped up well. Now I could do this with my hands, but I have carpal tunnel going on right now, and squeezing this butter into this flour forever with my hands really hurts. So here we go. That ought to do it. Just ignore my flour mess over here. We're going to add this to our bowl. I'll put this out of the way for now. And let's get in here and kind of work this together. Oh, beautiful. Basically what happens is the butter turns in, the whole mixture turns into the only way I can describe it, it kind of feels like cornmeal. And if you don't have that consistency, you need to quit working it. But that is the consistency that I have. It's like cornmeal. So I'm just going to kind of make a well here in the center of the mixture. Excellent. And let's get ready to add some buttermilk. Now, for my blind viewers, what I do to kind of cut down on the mess is I will lay out like a baking sheet or something so that if I spill flour or when I go to flatten these out, it's pretty much contained to the baking sheet, and that's what I find works best. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 cup of buttermilk. 1 cup of buttermilk, beautiful, got that in there. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take my hands and kind of work it into this dough. It's going to be a little messy, but hey, what's cooking without a bit of mess, right? If you don't have a bit of mess, it's not a good recipe. So I'm getting my hands all nastied up in here, squeezing this dough together. It's coming together very nicely. And I think these are going to be some really good biscuits. Now, I grew up, my grandma Jackson was from West Virginia. My grandma Coates was from Kentucky. So if you have people cooking that are from West Virginia and people cooking that are from Kentucky, you know something's going to turn out good. Can't beat, and I hope this is not considered politically incorrect, but you can't beat a good old hillbilly cook. And I remember, now my grandma Coates, you know, it was more of, she made cornbread, and I remember she would make cabbage, and I always loved to go to her house and eat salmon patties. Now, Grandma Jackson, she had like 15 kids. There was a big family to feed. And I can remember for the first time trying squirrel at her house. I tried groundhog, all that kind of interesting stuff, which, you know, when it comes down to it, in my opinion, it all tastes like chicken. I like a little bit of venison every once in a while. Venison burger and stew or chili or spaghetti. It doesn't taste any different than what you would have if you were using regular hamburger. The only difference is it's a lot more lean, especially if you know, the butcher knows what they're doing to get the wild taste out of it. So I have been introduced to all kinds of different foods, and no matter what, it doesn't matter which side it comes from, you can't beat a good buttermilk biscuit. So I've got this mixed up pretty well, the way I want it, and what I'm going to have to do here is get this junk off of my fingers, which I'm going to do by just kind of rolling it around. It's going to land in the bowl. And then I'm going to have to take one more hand washing break, and then we'll get a little flour, lay it out there, and begin the process of getting ready to make our biscuits. So I'll be right back. So I'm going to go ahead and I floured the surface here. I have foil down on this pan, and I've spread some flour on it. And I've put a little flour in my hand, and I'm just going to turn this dough out of this bowl right onto this pan. And put this bowl over here for now. And what we're going to do is just gather this all up, and we are going to flatten it out into a rectangle with our hands. No need to roll it out with a rolling pin. We're just going to use our hands, flatten it out, just like this. Beautiful. You know, for the longest time when I made biscuits, I would roll them out with a rolling pin, and I learned that that wasn't necessary. You can just pat out this dough, just like this, and they will come out just as good, if not better. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this dough into 4 sections, and I'm going to take the sections, and I'm going to pile them on top of one another, just like this. Well, we're going to have more than 4 sections. We're going to have about 5, but that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is do the whole thing over again. Just take my hands and flatten it out. And we're going to repeat this probably one more time after this. We're going to tear it all apart, put them down, pat them out, and then we're going to cut our biscuits. Now, one of the things I remember my mom's side of the family, I remember my mom making these when I was growing up. She loved fried chicken gizzards. Has anybody ever had fried chicken gizzards? Now, I don't know for sure what a gizzard is, but it's an organ, and my wife won't try them. She's not brave enough. She said some of that stuff's just really weird. Now, my grandma Jackson's side of the family, they'd make a pot of pig's feet. Y'all ever ate pig's feet? They're actually not bad either. They're a little sticky, but they're mainly bone, so there's not a lot of meat on them. I'm tearing these apart again, by the way. I'm piling them on top of one another. There's not a lot of meat on them, really. I think there's a lot of fat on them. And people eat those, they'll put vinegar on them. And they'll eat them up, and they're not too bad. I think one of these Sundays I'll make a batch for Sunday dinner. Just kidding. I'm trying to get a reaction from the person behind the camera today, which is my wife. Honey, will you eat some pig's feet?
No.
No. She says no.
I'll record you making them, but I'm not going to.
She'll record me making them, but she has no interest in eating them. I'll tell you what, guys, this is a workout, man, pushing out this dough. I feel like I'm fixing to start panting or something. Heck, it's like going to the gym. I'm going to need the gym by the time I eat these. So I'm going to pat this out to, I don't know, somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, which I've almost got it. Now this is definitely not what you would call a perfect rectangle. But I think we're ready, guys, to start cutting some biscuits. Now, I was at the store yesterday and I was trying to find a biscuit cutter and had absolutely no luck. So what I do, I have this coffee cup here. Simple coffee cup. It says something on it, I think. What's that say, honey?
Nothing, it's just a Christmas scene.
It's just a Christmas scene. So it's a Christmas coffee cup. And I just used the top edge of it to cut. The oven's set for 450 because that's what these are going to cook on. So I'm just going to take my cup. You're going to put the cup over the dough, push straight down. Do not twist, and just pull up, and it will cut your biscuit. Look at that perfect biscuit right there at that cut. Sometimes they don't come off, and you have to, sometimes they don't come up with the cup and you just have to pull them out. That's no big deal though. So I'm just going to keep cutting these real quick. And when you can't cut anymore out of the dough, I went ahead and cut, I don't know, 4 biscuits, I think. Just wad it up and take your hands and press it out again into that same size rectangle as much as possible. And then you can repeat the process of cutting them again until you run out of dough. And it doesn't take too long to get them all cut up. And I have mine, this is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and cut these real quick. Now we're just going to take some buttermilk and take our pastry brush and wipe it over the top of all of the biscuits. All right, now we're going to throw these in the oven for 15 minutes. See you in a little bit. All right, the timer went off, so we're going to pull these babies out. have a look. They feel great to me. Nice buttermilk biscuits. Have a great day, everyone.